My name's Zio, and you might remember an announcement from SEGA regarding reboots of some of their old IPs like Streets of Rage, Jet Set Radio, and Golden Axe. The intriguing part of this was they said, and more. Now, recently there have been whisperings of this more being a reboot of the original Phantasy Star Online. I did not know about this until the other day when I raided out to a friend who asked if I'd heard the whisperings of a possible PSO1 reboot. Shout out to the homies at Talk Brunch for sharing this little tidbit here. So the news comes from comicbook.com, and yes, I realize today is April 1st. Arguably the most popular role-playing game to ever release on Sega Dreamcast is said to be coming back in the form of a new reboot or reimagining. Despite being the final console that Sega ever released, the Dreamcast ended up featuring a ton of acclaimed titles that have continued to be looked back upon fondly. Now, one of the platform's most iconic releases is said to be coming back, although details on the new iteration are still sparse. Based on a new report, Sega is said to be in the process of recreating the hugely popular MMORPG Phantasy Star Online in some capacity. The info stems from an insider named Zippo, who has proven to be reliable in the past when it comes to Sega. This new iteration of Phantasy Star Online is said to be in the works from the same development team as the original game. As for when this reboot might be released, it still sounds many years away, as the title's creation is said to still be in the early phases. I'm happy to report that a new installment in the series is in development at Sega's headquarters in Japan and is being labeled as either a reboot or reimagining of the original Dreamcast Phantasy Star Online game, the report states. It is once again a MMO being developed by the same development team. No release date has been given, but it does sound like it's a ways out, so don't expect to hear about this one for a while. It seems kind of weird that they do this since PSO2 is still active, assuming this is even true. PSO1 holds a special place in my heart as well as countless others, but there are just certain parts of that game that have not aged well. The combat system is definitely one of those things. If you look at PSO1's combat system versus PSO2 or even PSU's, it has not aged all that well. It was pretty good for its time, especially when you consider that it was made with dial-up modems in mind. I think the one thing that PSO1 had over its successors was its gear itemization. There were different weapons and armors and units that had unique effects like boosting attack speed or amplifying the effects of certain techniques. Assuming this is true, what the hell do they even want to do with this? Do they want to just do a straight port of the game with Dreamcast balance and updated graphics, or rebuild the thing altogether? I think something like this would have to be more in line with Blue Burst in terms of story and balance. Definitely update the visuals in the combat section, maybe give cutscenes voice acting. If they seriously want to do this, I'd say just go all out. I think at best they go that route. At worst, it's just another port of Blue Burst with some updated eye candy. If they really want to have this running in tandem with NGS, they should have some incentives for that game. Like maybe updated outfits for NGS with the different color variants from PSO1. The outfits for some classes looked very different depending on what color you picked. The mesh was the same though. It might work, but why? I don't think there's too much of the original crew still working at Sega. I don't know, it's just, unless they do something really radical, it's not going to be that much different from playing on one of the many private servers out there. If they start going after the operators of private servers like Affinia and Ultima and what have you within the next year or so, then it's pretty much a safe bet that this is coming. Just look at Nostalrius with World of Warcraft. That server got nuked, and then 3 years later Blizzard turned around and put out WoW Classic. Kinda hard to make an apples to apples comparison there though. Official PSO1 retail servers have been gone for over a decade and WoW is still active. I can't write this off as mere April foolery since this article was published just a few days before. On top of that, I don't know if this is even happening. So anyway, what do you guys think? Would you want to see something like this? You know how much I love chopping it up with you guys in the comments section and on the streams. Twitch.tv/Zeomantic. We talk about this shit all the time. Come on by and hang out sometime, we'd love to have you. Anyway, that's a wrap. I hope you have a blessed day. And remember, To thine own self be true. Until next time, farewell.